Hey, Josiah.
What's up, Sal?
Hey, welcome to the Shuttlecast.
The Shuttlecast.
Shuttlecast.
Yes. The new era.
A second first draft.
Yes.
The new era.
Absolutely.
Welcome to our podcast that is just podding. No videoing, really.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Fuck the YouTube shit. We're here to talk about Queen's Gambit, that Netflix show that people. I mean, like, it's so rare nowadays to see a show or a property like come out. It's original IP, brand new thing, like an individual medium. Because games, it still happens all the time. Same with books, but movies and TV shows, it's like if you're not adapting something, what are you doing? So the Queen. I mean, Queen's. Oh shit, that's right. It is based off a book. It is from the 80s, though. It's not. It's not based off a book that like.
It's not like a new bestseller.
It's not like The Witcher or like shit where it's like.
The only other recent example I can really think of off the top of my head is Ozark. That being an IP that apparently was ranked in the top 20 most valuable properties in the year 2020. So,
which is weird to me because I only thing I ever hear about Ozark is you saying I fucking love Ozark.
People watch it. It's just that they don't really talk about it unless it's like currently out.
Gotcha.
Like when the new seasons come, everyone's like, "Oh, Ozark's so fucking great." But I think it's gonna kind of be like Breaking Bad, where once you get to like season 5, it'll be at the height of its popularity.
And everyone's watching it.
Yeah, so Queen's Gambit, it's a new IP, basically. I mean, like you said, it's based on a novel from the 80s.
From what I was reading, the guy who is one of the producers has been trying to get it made for like 20-ish years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, it's like, it's basically he just kind of took it.
Yeah, and it is kind of impressive how this has caught people's imaginations. It is kind of around, it is interesting how it finally started coming out right when chess was getting a little bit more mainstream attention on Twitch and stuff. Like Nakamura, he's been doing stuff, and then Moist Critical and all these other people started streaming like chess.
Yeah,
and it became a whole
separate
thing.
From that, this show happened.
I think it's all kind of connected in some way.
Yeah,
we're just not seeing the numbers. Like whoever is producing it, they were looking at look at like the increase in like chess books being bought, or look at Gadmitter's channels getting like way more views.
Yeah, we can kind of tap into that potential. Who wants to make a chess show? Oh, this guy.
Yeah, and
based off a book. Oh, the guy did. I think it was Color Purple. The guy wrote as well.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Stuff like that. Where it's like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing.
And it's not like there hasn't been successful chess things before.
Mm-hmm.
There is a movie I want to watch with Tobey Maguire and Liev Schreiber called Pawn Sacrifice. Yeah,
we didn't need to watch that. So you talked about that when we were watching this.
Yeah. So we can watch that at some other time. Maybe do a conversation on that. But
so the cool thing about this show is that we watched it together.
We did,
and you're the chess guy.
Yeah,
and I'm not. I haven't played chess in like 15 years, maybe.
Yeah,
last time I actually played a serious chess game.
And let's be fair. I mean, I learned it when I was in middle school, but I always had a mind for it, and I was, kind of. It's not like I ever forgot my knowledge of chess, but then I recently came back to it a few months before Queen's Gambit dropped. So it was all kind of the synergy of it coming together, where I was like right in the height of my chess appreciation.
And there was that Down the Rabbit Hole video all about chess.
That also came out recently. So again, it's one of those weird things where it's like maybe it's the zeitgeist, maybe people are seeing stuff that we don't.
It's that natural human flow from point to point to point, and then for some reason, like late 2020, everyone was like chess.
Yeah, no, I think that kind of fits. I mean, when we are in like a lockdown scenario, people need stuff to distract them, obviously, and I feel like chess is a good game for really expending brain power. Yeah. Right, you can spend with. I mean, I'm on chess.com, and you can do like a 5-day game, so you can like literally come back and look at it and go, I'm just not seeing what I want to do, and then come back like 2 days later and go, okay, I'm gonna make this move. Yeah. So the game's kind of changed in that way. And yeah, when this was coming out, I like let's be clear here on the Shuttlecast. We are enormous fans of Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a review of the first thing we ever saw her in on this channel.
The Witch.
The Vivitch.
The Vivitch.
And we loved her in that.
Yeah.
And loved her. What else has she been in other than that? Glass.
We followed her. Yeah, Split was
Glass.
kind of her next big thing that we saw her in. We never did a discussion on Glass. I do think we should go back and do that trilogy.
Yes, definitely.
Because I think we all have a lot to say. Yeah. And she was in that, and then she was in New Mutants, which we finally got around to finally seeing.
Needs its own discussion.
Yeah.
She's also in that Jane Austen type movie, Emma, which I didn't watch, but my boyfriend did.
Yeah.
And he said that the movie was kind of mad, but she was the best part.
Well,
which is also the case for New Mutants, is the movie's mad, but she's the best part.
Yeah, and she's been in a few other things that we've seen her in, but she's extremely talented. She's gorgeous. I think you and I talked about it. She has a very unconventional beauty to her.
Yeah, her face is like on a technical level, not correct, but
it's not conventional. But it's like her eyes are very wide.
It's perfect, like fairy goddess.
Yeah, that ethereal, unearthly kind
like
of
if you told me like today, right now, hey guys, guess what? We casted Anya Taylor-Joy as young Galadriel in the Lord of the Rings show. I'd be like,
yeah,
money. Here you go.
She's that fae beauty. Yeah, she's just from Jump Street. I was like, okay, even if this is like bad chess from like how it's presented, I'm sure that I'm gonna love her performance. So
also, if she plays Galadriel, we fucking called that right here. That happened.
Yeah. Please get that Furiosa prequel with her out.
Oh, and she's in that. Yeah, she's in Furiosa. Fuck yeah, dude.
If that gets made, Mad Max movies are
they're tough to make.
They're tough to make, but when they're made,
oh god, they're good. This is a pretty short show. It's a mini series, basically. It's 7 episodes.
Yeah, limited series. So I don't think
they're gonna do a second season because you never know with Netflix. Because remember when I watched Stranger Things, and people will bitch at me for this, and I'm not sorry, but you come to the Shuttlecast for a reason. Stranger Things season 1 was good, and it should have ended right then and there because after that it just fucking atrophied like a dead corpse. Because that first season ended it was a nice story. We got, spoilers, we got the kid back with his mom. There's this big mystery. We don't know all the details. All that matters is we got the kid back. We defeated the demon. Move on. Right? But
it's too popular.
So I'm worried with Queen's Gambit. They might do a... but I think at the very end we'll talk about if they do a season 2, what we want to see.
Yeah,
but if they never do, if it never happens, good. Leave it where it is.
I think that shows that take a novel and adapt it very faithfully, and then either just make shit up or do the this is another example, like Dexter, where they adapted the first novel almost completely faithfully and then just did their own thing, and it's just like very weird.
And now they're coming back for a new season.
They're doing the reboot?
No, they're doing a final season. They're coming back and doing a final season.
Yeah, to make up for the shitty ending of Dexter.
Yes.
Well, you can't really, but good luck trying.
They're gonna try. They got the guy from Gamer back.
Michael C. Hall.
Oh yeah, sorry. He's the guy from Gamer, right?
That's so embarrassing because he's the guy from Dexter. He's also on The Crown.
That like totally 100% real show about real things.
Oh, but the Queen's Gambit. I think that it's a complete story.
Mm-hmm.
I love this character. I love the presentation. I love the world. I don't need to see anything else with this character.
Agreed. Would I like to? Sure, because I had a lot of fun watching it, and again, Anya Taylor-Joy knocks it out of the park.
Yeah,
does a fantastic fucking job bringing Beth Harmon to life.
Yeah.
Amazing performance.
And just real quick as like not a disclaimer, but I know that when I was going in, there is you've probably never heard of this, but there's a term that people throw around called Mary Sue. It's very unknown. But
Is that a quote from known rapist Max Landis?
I would advocate that we have had a lot of Mary Sues in recent fiction. And now I'm not saying that we haven't had Gary Stews or Marty Stews in the past.
Can you explain for the audience what is a Mary Sue?
Mary Sue originates as a fan fiction term, and it was most oftenly used to describe, most of the time, self-insert characters where the usually female authors would make themselves a character who was simultaneously like loved by everyone but didn't fit in, but was like really good at everything, but also was really like angsty. And it was this weird combination of like not real flaws, like they didn't really have flaws, but they were like great at everything. The irony is that Rey Palpatine is honestly the best example of a Mary Sue from in like modern fiction, not fan fiction. Like the best example I can think of in terms of she is better at everything than everyone.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is. It's like, it doesn't even have to fit her background. She's just better at it for no reason. She's just liked by everyone.
She acts like she's flawed, but she has actually no flaws.
Yeah, it's weird. And then she's also just kind of bland.
Mm-hmm.
And going,
so that you, as an audience member, can put yourself onto her face and think, wow, I'm her.
I can't relate to Rey. I can relate to, like, let's say Luke Skywalker.
Rey is... The reason why she's such a Mary Sue is because you, as, you know, if you're a female viewer, what Disney thinks you'll think is, oh, wow, she's a girl.
I'm a girl.
I'm Rey.
Yeah.
And then you just imprint your personality onto Rey.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, it's the common thing with...
It's kind of like Neo, where it's like Neo's kind of like milquetoast because you want to be Neo.
Yeah.
Not to the extreme degree that Rey does.
I would say in the first Matrix, not really, but in the second and third one, yeah, he's definitely kind of the... It's Mary Sue is basically like just a more extreme version of the bland main character. It's just like, imagine a bland main character who everyone likes.
Yeah, and is just the best. And everyone loves them. And they're everyone's friend.
So
they beat up the bad guy. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Going into this show, even though I was totally on board because it's Anya Taylor-Joy, and it's a new show about chess. And so I'm immediately like, okay, this is really, like, I'm totally in. Like, the premise sounds really interesting. But there is the concern, and especially if you're watching this and you have seen a lot of Mary Sue's recently, and maybe you're worried. In the first few episodes, there is that feeling like, okay, like, she's instantly great at chess. Yeah,
the first couple episodes, she just kicks everyone's ass. And not just everyone, like, also people, like, a whole room at the exact same time.
Which, like... Okay, so the thing... They mention him a few times, but I'm going to give some chess lore.
Okay, that's why you're here.
So they mentioned Paul...
That's why I watched this with you.
Yeah, they mentioned Paul Charles Morphy. Now, Paul Charles Morphy lived, like, several hundred years ago, and he was this young aristocrat from America, and he... basically just walked in on his uncle and his dad playing chess one day, and then like immediately just like somehow, it's like
just got it.
And he lectured them on what they did wrong.
That was a non-dominant hand snap. It was very good.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And he also was like so good that he basically was like the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, like he doesn't.
Yeah, the GOAT, if you will.
Nowadays, there's kids. The chess problem.
He was Poggers.
He was Poggers, yeah.
He was PogChamp.
Confirmed, Paul Charles Morphy, the P stood for PogChamp. And he was just like nowadays chess has this thing where everyone uses engines at home. So there's a lot more like everyone kind of knows the lines, they've memorized them.
Yeah.
And chess is really more interesting once you get to the point on the game where, okay, we're past the openings, now it's a completely new game.
Yeah.
Now it's up to the player's skill. Whereas back in the day, he was kind of the greatest of all time because he just got it. And he too did the thing where he played against a whole room of people.
Yeah.
So Beth Harmon,
it's not an uncommon thing. It's just
so Beth Harmon is basically foreshadowed and like referenced as kind of being like Paul Charles Morphy reincarnated in this young redhead's body.
Yeah.
And so in the first few episodes, she's just kicking everyone's ass, and you're kind of like, okay, like. I'm still really loving the direction, the score, the acting, the characters,
the editing.
It's all amazing. But from a story point of view, I'm not really feeling that she has much going against her aside from her tragic childhood.
Yeah.
Which is significant. Like, you could argue that for the first half of the show, chess is not what she struggles with. It's life.
No, yeah, it's life. It's substance abuse. It's loneliness, isolation, like being an orphan, being an unwanted adoptive kid.
Yeah,
like a bunch of things.
It's when you get to the second half of the show where once chess starts becoming a problem, then she really goes downhill.
Yeah, and once it's like because so it's like I think like
cling,
everything's fine. Jedi business, go back to your drinks. Sorry, I had to pretzel myself on the chair. It's a couple episodes in. Is it 3 or 4?
When she loses for the first time?
Yeah,
I think it's episode like 4, but I can't remember.
But like it hits this point where like she loses and it's like, oh fuck. And it's really powerful because like she spent so much time winning that when she finally lost, it was like, oh thank God.
Yeah.
Because now it's like she's not a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
She has tasted defeat. She has tasted how it is to lose. And now we can have an interesting character.
Yeah, and
because she was already interesting.
She was held together with substances and her psychoses, but when she starts to spiral, it's like, no, very clearly she is a very flawed human being.
Yeah, and it's
who has a lot of things. Yeah, a lot of things to get over.
Like it's
so I want to assuage anyone's fears who has not seen the show. I do not view Beth Harmon as a Mary Sue.
No, not at all.
And yeah, it's more of a focus about the show is more about the conflict changes throughout her life as to because we kind of get a portrait of her life from childhood to
adolescence.
Her adolescence up to when she becomes, I don't know about how old she is, but she's a woman at this point.
It's hard to tell. So like the whole first episode is her young.
Aside from you get the whole trope where you get the flash forward to her final match. Her final quote unquote match.
Yeah, so the show does this great opening where it's like, older Beth and wakes up and like there's a knock on the door and she wakes up in a fucking like bathtub.
Yeah.
And like she looks like shit, but she's still beautiful because it's Anya Taylor-Joy. And she looks fucking slammed. She like hastily gets ready. There's like someone sleeping in her bed. And she takes some sort of pills and douses it with like alcohol, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then she like ends up at this chess match, and then it cuts to her as a kid. And that's where we are for the rest of that episode. And then the next episode opens up, and it's Anya Taylor-Joy, supposed to be like 16 or 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of making her look young. Like her hair, her clothes, everything.
Yeah.
Which is great. Because I was so happy to get her back in the show as the main focus. Not that the kid was bad, it's just...
No, she was very, very good. Yeah, and I don't really want to go like plot point by plot point.
Yeah.
Because it's best if you just go watch the show yourself. But yeah, I would say that just... and again, I haven't read the book, but...
We have to read the book.
Yeah. I have to... Like, this feels like a very faithful adaptation. It feels like you could have summed up her childhood in like half an episode, but they took the time to make it like, no, we're gonna like have a whole episode with her very young, and then episode like 2 we're gonna have her a bit older, and then she gets adopted, and then she doesn't really like become kind of the age range we saw in the very opening until episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Which was a very good choice because it did bring me on the journey of seeing her. Because she's in this like orphanage and they're very strict, and because it's our horrible adoption system, she gets screwed out of being in several homes, and she has to learn chess from the janitor in the basement. Yeah,
who is reluctant to teach her at first.
Yeah,
but eventually he does decide to teach her. And the cool thing about this whole experience of Beth learning how to play chess is that in the first episode, it's basically as Beth learns how to play chess, so too does the audience to a degree.
To a degree, yeah.
Like it's not like it's saying sit you down and say, okay, so the pawn does this, and the
No, but they do.
but they do, but not like in like a tutorial-y way.
Yeah,
It was done very well, and then also like, what's cool about it is that as she learns how to play chess, so do you, but also like as she gets into the tournament scene, and then learns things about like clocks and like and like writing down your moves.
Yeah,
and like it's great because Beth's like applying to tournaments, and they're like, yeah, do you have like what's your score? And she's like, I don't have one. Like, oh, then you can't play in the open. It's like, I want to play in the open though. But you're not have a score. She's like, how do I get one? And
it's almost as if the show teaches you more about the world of chess rather than the game itself.
Yeah, well, that's where the drama comes in. Is in the world of chess.
Yeah,
and of course they don't. The chess tournaments are not how they would be in reality.
Well, yeah, they're talking to each other. And
they're talking, and also like it's one game, whereas in actual chess it'd be like multiple games.
Yes,
because it's like.
Oh well, especially like
in a tournament.
In like the later major games, like in the initial one, it's a smaller tournament. It might not be that, but yeah, most of the time it's like you play multiple games against someone. It's not just like one game, you know.
Yeah. So when she loses like to somebody, and because the reason why this is because if you watch the show, you know it's like, well, whoever starts with white goes first. White has the advantage.
Yeah, and yeah.
So they play multiple games to have each person have enough turns to be white and be black, but also to kind of like learn your opponent so that by the end, you're truly fighting your opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
With the full knowledge of the previous games and with the opportunity to play both as white and black enough times. Whereas in the show, it's dramatized, so it's one game. And it's like, it's cool because it's a show and no one's going to want to see like, you can't keep up the tension over.
It would be hard to do that for multiple games without it just being like you're watching an actual chess tournament, which I think is I
would like that.
I find it interesting, but the layman might not, which
is understandable.
The show in terms of how it treats chess and like it tells you a bit, but it doesn't like go into ad nauseum detail. It kind of reminds me, although since it has more time, it's a little bit better than Casino Royale, where like they don't tell you how the game exactly works, like all the rules, but you kind of infer, okay, like that is more than James Bond's hand, that's why he lost, and you know, it kind of keeps the tension by how characters react, like, oh, that move there, and there's a bit where it's like, oh, Beth Harmon's queen is trapped, and it's like the audience is not getting like the full view of the board to see exactly how she can't get out of it, but it's like, no, but the character reactions and like the cinematography convey the idea.
And you know, with the amount of consultants on this show, I'm sure that every game like makes sense with every shot.
Yeah, they drew on several real world games. They had actual former chess champions consulting.
So the show respects chess, but dramatizes it when it needs to.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, in a way that I think, from what I've seen, most people in the chess community accept the derivations for the sake of drama. None of it to them has felt like Hollywood stupidity.
Yeah, they're not like shonen screaming in the middle of a chess match.
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
It's not Yu-Gi-Oh, even though I wish it was.
Yeah, I you know, there's no full-on chess anime, but I guess just watch this.
This is the closest thing to like a shonen chess anime.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah, like with the power scaling and like harder and harder opponents.
Oh, the Russians all work together, so they're way stronger.
And then past enemies come back to help, and
yeah,
it's very Dragon Ball Z.
It is, yeah. It's like, okay, Beltic was Vegeta, you know, except Goku fucked him. You know, we need to fucking talk about Beltic because he's such a meme in this apartment right now between you and me. Beltic
is the fucking best character. So all right, okay. So
lay the groundwork.
I'm gonna lay the groundwork for you here. So we have the audio wave spiking as soon as Beltic's mentioned. So Beltic is Beth's first like real threat.
Yeah, he's the first one to make her go, oh, I have to try.
Yeah, like everyone else before Beltic, she kind of was like, fuck you, I'm better than you, right?
Yeah.
And it's great, because, you know, it's Beth Harmon, you love to see it. But Beltic, she gets the Beltic, and so Beth has learned the rules of chess. She knows, okay, this. These are these opens, these are these moves, blah, blah, blah. She's done all this studying, all this training, all this, like, everything. She gets the Beltic. And Beltic, we didn't realize it at first, but after a few moments, me and Joe, I think, around the same, like, nanosecond, we're both like, oh my god, that's Dudley.
That's fucking Dudley from Harry Potter. Where is your mum, Potter?
Who's Cedric, your boyfriend?
Who's Cedric, your boyfriend? And then we both realized that. We're like, oh, God, he's so thin.
Yeah, he looks great.
He lost all that weight. He looks like Matt Smith's bastard son.
It's fantastic. And so what Beth was not prepared for when she went against Beltic was, well, A, she does get her period in the middle of this, which is very interesting that the man who... Oh no, it's not the guy not the first guy she fucks. Because there's the weed guy. Yeah. Is that the first guy she fucks?
I think,
the guy from the Russian class?
Yeah.
Lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I was gonna draw a parallel, never mind. Fuck you, show, I could have done that. To her first period and her first fuck later. It was gonna be a thing. Symbolism. Anyway, so she gets her period during it, so that kind of sucks too, but also, Beltic employs mind games.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he what does he do? He like breathes, he yawns.
He's like he
like snaps his fingers to break concentration.
Cracks his knuckles.
He just does everything that you don't want when you're trying to concentrate on such a layered game.
Yeah, really licks his lips, like taps things, and Beth. Anya Taylor-Joy's acting in this scene is phenomenal because she is so confused and she can't concentrate.
Yeah.
So it's great. Like, it's her first time realizing that, like, oh, it's more than just, like, knowing the moves.
Yeah.
It's also, like, being strong of, like, will.
Yeah.
And of character.
Yeah.
On top of just being smart.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so great. And she has to, like, leave mid-match and like, have, like, a moment to chill because she's like, oh, my God. Dudley's fucking me.
Yeah. Well, no, that happens later.
I know, yeah. And then the whole time he was doing that, Joe and I were like, doing the bit and fucking Order of the Phoenix was like, who's Cedric, your boyfriend?
Is she dead?
Is she dead?
Is she dead? Oh, so good.
What are you doing, Paul?
I don't know why he did that in that movie. It's very bizarre. Very brave choice.
Dude, I mean, this guy's an amazing actor, so like I trust him.
Yeah, he was a great steal for this. Apparently he's doing a lot of Netflix related material.
Well, because after we finish Queen's Gambit, we should do another podcast. We watched the Devil All the Time that he's in.
Yeah.
Like literally, we finished Queen's Gambit and we said, let's watch something else. We have enough time tonight. Oh, there's this Netflix movie with Tom Holland. Let's just watch this.
Yeah.
And like 20 minutes in, fucking Dudley shows up. We're like, fucking Beltic, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's now Beltic.
He's now Beltic.
He's not Dudley anymore.
He has evolved from Dudley into Beltic.
He's like a Pokemon.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, it's very much an upgrade.
But it's also, I mean, I like that like whole bit is awesome because we were like, oh, she almost lost. And then who did she first lose to? Is it Borgov?
No, it's not Borgov.
Is it?
She loses to
Is it Jojen?
Yeah. What's the character?
Jojen Reed.
He's the American. He's the cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's the first one who soundly kind of beats her.
Yes.
And
not just once.
No.
Remember Speed Chess?
Yeah.
I don't want to think about Speed Chess.
Speed Chess is very intense. If you, here, I'm gonna do a little plug here. I've been doing Friday Night Gambit streams where I play chess, and I fought my old friend from elementary and middle school, and he was kicking my butt, and then we played speed chess, and I managed to beat him. But in our speed chess match, we were only had 1 minute of time each. So every move you would make would get you 1 second of time. So it got to the point where I had like 13 seconds, and I was like, well, I have to make this work. And so I was, at that point, you're just kind of playing on instinct almost. You're like viewing 2 moves ahead and going, that's fine. I just have to trade down as fast as possible.
Benny Watts,
yeah. He's the American, he's the cowboy, and he's very, very good. He's power scaling wise probably like 3rd most powerful in the verse, maybe 4th.
Yeah, because I think their first match together I forget how it ends, but like they become like co-champions for US.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're co-US champ. No, that's not what it is. So Benny's the first one who gets her to a draw.
Right. Okay.
That's what it is. And then I think Borgov is the first like actual.
Well, yeah, because he's Borgov. Like,
so it's great because like Beltic almost gets her. Benny gets her to a draw.
Yeah.
Borgov fucking kills her.
Yeah, it very clearly establishes the hierarchy that he's the world champion. Like,
for good reason.
He's no joke. And all the Russians are ridiculous.
Yeah, and dude, the arc of with the Russians, man, they set up the Russians so good in this show because like from early on, Beth gets that like the Russians are the best.
Yeah,
and so she starts taking Russian classes.
That's right.
So she can learn how to speak Russian, which comes in handy later.
Yeah,
because she's in an elevator with some Russians and with Borgov, and they're talking strategy against her. Like, when she gets irritated, she plays kind of sloppy. You have to kind of feed into that, and she can like hear them. She's like, "Oh fuck me."
Yeah.
But another cool thing in the show is you mentioned it earlier how they set up how the Russians all work together.
Yeah,
and the Americans are individualists.
The Americans are individualists, which, again, true to life. That especially in that time period, that's our strengths is that the strength of how we do things is that everyone's an individual, so it allows us to have more freedom to kind of go outside the box. But the way they do things, the Russians, it's communist, so it's a collective that they would just prefer beating us. They don't care if like Borgov is the only Russian to win, as long as he wins.
As long as a Russian wins, it's fine.
Yeah, because to them and there's several Russian characters where we see they're more about just like elevating the game itself. They don't even care about their own fame.
And there's this one guy who we jokingly just nicknamed him Karl Marx.
He looks like Karl Marx.
Who became an actual character.
Yeah.
Which was great.
I thought he was just going to be in the background, gets beaten character.
It was like a fun extra. Then he gets this whole like big like Kenny Omega entrance of like, this man has won tournaments and I'm like, oh fuck. And it sets him up as like this big dick like former like world champion.
Yeah.
And like Beth beats him, and then he stands up and goes, "That was the best game I've ever played in my life. Thank you."
And then it's like, oh my god,
and it's like he didn't care that he lost.
No,
he just cared that the game was good. And I'm like, yeah, go Russia. Yeah. I didn't say that. Or I did.
Vladimir Putin's like,
depending on who wins the war, I did or did not say that.
I want to be on the right side of history here. But the ultimate plot of the show is that Beth is good, but she just can't beat Borgov. Like, there's no way. But with Benny and Beltic, and they're all offering different strategies. And Towns.
Who, we'll talk about Towns in a bit.
Yeah.
That's a whole conversation I want to get into.
And the twins.
Yeah. Bro! Yeah, like, everyone who, like, at some point was, like, an impasse for her.
Yeah.
In America, at the end.
Helped her succeed.
Comes back and is like, no. We're behind you, Beth.
And again, that's another reason why I will refute Mary Sue, because she couldn't have done it without all of their help.
Yeah, no, if Beth was by herself, I mean, like, maybe in, like, 20 years she could have done it. But, like, no, it took the fighting force of America.
Yeah, it took the United States of America.
But to be fair, if you think about power scaling-wise, Borgov's also being helped by all the other Russian players.
It's true.
So, if anything, it just helped even the balance, even the scales, if you will.
Yeah.
Because, like, Beth was fighting against, like, the entire Russian hive mind by herself. This, like, 23-year-old, substance abuse riddled, drugged out, fucking cute girl fought Russia.
Yeah.
And she got to the finals before being like, shit, I could really use some help right now.
Yeah. It is, it's obviously fictional. Not to controversial, because I know some people have been. There was one video I watched where someone was like,
"Be controversial, please."
Queen's Gambit portrays like the idea that because I don't know, you probably don't know it too well, but in chess we do have a separate men's and women's championship, like wrestling.
Really?
It's because
in wrestling it makes sense because of like
it's because there's never been a woman who has beaten like a Borgov. But, and it's not, I'm not necessarily saying that women aren't as smart as men or anything like that. I'm just saying like less women are going to get into chess than basement dwellers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like men are more likely to get into chess. But I know there was
so
like
weird.
Well, it's kind of like on averages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, men are more likely to want to build things or like very logic puzzle based things, how things fit together on the whole, I'm saying. But so I know there was like some brief controversy about that. And I'm like, well, it's not saying it's based on true events. Like Borgov's not portrayed as like a real world champion. He's based on one, but it's like, well, it's not like we're trying to like say, oh yeah, fuck Russia, America, and also like again, it doesn't. This show doesn't feel to me like it's pushing identity politics. It feels like it's just trying to tell a good story.
No. If anything, it's like I enjoy stories like this where you get to drink your propel. Let's go for it.
It's more about like I'm not sure how much of the cap ends up on the mic, but
dude, who cares?
That's true.
Welcome to Spotify. We love you.
And Anchor. By the way, Anchor's great.
Yeah, we'll do that later. Or we already did it. Who knows? So, what was I going to say? I was the same thing. Yeah, so I like this kind of story because, like, female characters are really interesting because we live in such a male-dominated society that, there's more room for conflict and struggle and growth and character development if your character is a female in a male-dominated setting. Because she has more to fight through.
Right.
And so, like, for me, it's more interesting in a way. Not saying that male characters are less interesting, but, like, I've seen that story so many times.
Sure.
That, like, I really enjoy. It's kind of like, you ever play Mountain Blade?
No, you wanted me to play it.
Yeah, Mountain Blade's this great, like, medieval art or strategy, role-playing, army-building, world-conquering game that you're just set in a medieval society, and if you pick the chick, the game literally says, hey,
the game's gonna get harder.
The game is gonna be harder because women can't do this, and this. You have to work extra hard to get any of those things.
Well, that's cool because it's consistent with reality, right?
Yeah, and so like what's cool in this in the show is like Beth like goes in and they're like, well, first you have to play through the women's bracket to get into the men's bracket, and then she's like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do that, whatever. This is stupid. But like, it was kind of showing you that, like, and even in within the world, like, there's this chick who Beth beats early on in the show, who comes, like, in episode 2, who comes back in episode, like, 7, at the finale. And when Beth's, like, in, like, her lowest, darkest, like, she has fucking, like, shitty, runny makeup. She's, like, trying to smoke a cigarette in a fucking, like, elementary school. Like, she's drunk all the time. She reeks of booze. She looks so fucking gacked.
Yeah.
And some chick comes up like, oh, hey, Beth, remember me? Like, I was your first win. Yeah, like, and, I don't play anymore, but, like, I came all the way out here to see you because, like, you're such an inspiration to, like, women and stuff. And Beth is, like, drunk, like, fucking, like, Charlie Sheen, just, like, maybe I should turn my life around. Oh, fuck. Oh, God. What am I doing?
Yeah.
That, like, oh, God. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm this, like, role model, basically. And I'm, like, showing up, like, cigarette in my mouth, beer bottle in hand, stumbling all over the place for this public appearance. Like, it's good shit. Like, I think that it's really, like, empowering. But not, like, in a preachy empowering.
No.
Because there's good empowerment. Queen's Gambit. And there's bad empowerment, Batwoman.
I'm convinced that show's a troll. I'm convinced that that's not even, like, sincere empowerment. I feel like it's entirely, like, you can't say a line like, it will be, when it fits a woman, without it being like,
yeah,
is that a joke?
That's, I think, what I'm really trying to get at is, like, in things like Batwoman or that one cringy-ass scene in Endgame.
I think what it is... What it all comes down to, again, it's like my issue with a lot of media is that if you have to degrade something to make yourself look better, it's not empowerment.
No.
If you acknowledge obstacles, yes. if you acknowledge obstacles that are there, but you also show someone having the will to break through, that is empowerment.
Yeah, because...
But if you have to say, like, oh, all these male chess players are all shitty, awful people...
yeah, because the show could have, in SJW's hands, the show would have had Borgov, like, I've seen him, like, beating his wife.
Yeah.
And molesting his child, and, like...
They would have had a scene of him, like, going home to his wife, who's, like, 20 years younger than him, who looks like Beth. Then he makes her, like, suck him off, and it's like, oh, get it? He gets off on...
She's like a bimbo Russian doll, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, with Borgov, he's a good guy. He takes his family to the zoo. He's really kind. He's a good person. That's what's great about the show, that the villain isn't a bad guy. He's just better.
Yeah. None of the nemesis she gets are bad people.
Like, Beltic at first is annoying because of his tactics.
He's kind of a cock, but it's only because he's like has a big head about his abilities, and then once he gets like really beaten, he gets humbled.
Yeah,
and becomes a better person.
The best character in the whole show.
Yeah, and then like Benny, he's not a bad person.
No,
and then
he just has an ego.
Would you say Towns is undeveloped?
100%.
I would say Towns reeks the most of like young adult Gale from the Hunger Games.
Okay, listen, we're gonna get to Towns. That's the whole conversation.
Right.
I want to wrap up empowerment, and we'll get to Towns.
Okay, we'll get to Towns.
Take that from the front of your cortex. So, that's the thing about like, should these boundaries shouldn't exist, but you know, like women can't do this, women can't do that, you know, all that, you know, obviously, right? That kind of bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's all perception, right? Like,
it's all perception. What do you mean? What?
Well, it's the people's perceptions,
okay,
right?
Thank
like,
you. I thought you meant like, no, fuck women. It's all about how you look at it.
Well, no, I'm saying like I watched a very interesting video today about racism, and it was just saying that the way you fix racism is just to provide common ground between people. It's to add, not to subtract.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that these guys at the end are like really impressed by her abilities and work to help her is because they were honestly impressed by her abilities, and because she treated them as a respectful opponent. They were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Here, I'll get personal for a minute about this sort of thing. This is still a Queen's Gambit podcast, I promise. But like, I grew up in South Carolina.
Yeah,
South Carolina. Before that, I was born and raised in very Catholic Italian New York.
Yep. So
from that to South Carolina, and I was raised to believe very specific things about specific people, and. You know, whether
about certain barriers.
Yeah. So, yes, that color barrier. So like, you know, that I was raised in an environment, not just like at home, but at school or anywhere I go, where like you believe these things, and it's like, yeah, if you're gay, you're bad. If you're black, you're lesser. If, you know, blah, 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 women suck, men are the, you know, all that typical bullshit, right? And, you know, because I'm a kid, I'm like, okay, why would you lie to me? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Of course, the Santa Claus is real. You said so. That kind of shit. And, like, you know, and people grow up, and the thing about...
Wait, Santa Claus isn't real?
I'm sorry.
No,
this is. I
always love that joke when it's like someone who's way too old and they're like, "Wait, Santa Claus isn't real." I just love that joke. It's so funny.
Well, the thing is that like people grow up are raised by people who also got raised by people with those biases. Got raised by people with those biases back and back and back and back and back to forever. And so the way that and like people will sometimes eventually break out of those conventions and say, but that's stupid. Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, it just takes like
so when people are like, oh, like fuck racists, fuck homophobes, blah blah blah. It's like if someone yells at you about anything, how inclined are you to believe them?
Very unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
But whereas if you come at a more, you know, chill approach, they're more likely to accept it. Now, I'm not saying that every racist can be converted or every homophobe can be converted, it's not possible because some people just are bad people, and in their hearts are just evil and want to hate something.
Well, we all have. There's a lot of delusions that people claim to that may never disappear.
Yeah,
and it doesn't even have to be something that we know about necessarily.
Yeah, but the cool thing about the people in the show is that like Beltic, Benny, the twins, Towns to a degree, Borgov, the Russians, don't see Beth as a threat because she's a woman. Because their whole lives have been, oh well, women can't play chess because or are not as good as chess as we are.
Right.
And that's what's great about the show is that Beth subtly, throughout the whole show, disproves this myth to the other characters, and they all come around to being better people because like, oh, well, it didn't take Beth saying like, girls get it done.
I would say that Benny is Towns, but Benny was pretty cool from the start. I will say that. But
he was.
But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But mostly Beltic and the Russians.
Yeah. And even Scheibel on the janitor to a degree.
Well, yeah, and Scheibel, because he was also like, girls don't play chess.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's how you do it well, because like you set a story in a timeline or in a time area where like there was these prejudices, this is what the characters go through, and like that's how you show empowerment. That's how you show like that's good empowerment. That's not.
I agree.
That's not whatever the fuck Captain Marvel was.
Oof. Coming whenever we do that MC retrospective.
Or even again, I hate that fucking scene in Endgame. Where like
it's very bad.
Where Captain Marvel shows up like, we'll take it from here, and it's like it's all the girls, and they all were like, okay, now's the time for all of the girls to come together. No, Falcon, over there with the boys. Go away.
Yeah.
No, this is girl time. This is gal time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
and the best part about that was my least favorite scene in Infinity War was the fact that all the women had to fight. Remember that? The one member of the Black Order who was a woman, then the women had to fight her, and it was like,
oh my
why?
God, yeah. Can chicks stop fighting chicks?
Like you.
That's why I love Queen's Gambit, because they're like, hey, because of the prejudices, you have to fight girls. She's like, oh, fine.
You can do it. It's just like it has to make sense and not be very obvious.
It's typically very annoying.
Yeah. Unless
you're this kind of show where it's like a point.
Or The Mummy Returns.
Yeah, well, that's like set through the whole fucking like two movies, man.
Yeah.
That is built up, bro.
It's true. That is a good time where it's like, all right, the chicks have to fight each other. Yeah, and I want them to.
And I want them to because we established a lot of beef between them.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler for Mummy Returns. Noxuna Moon fucking kills Evie, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too, bro.
Yeah.
That's because it's like The Mummy Returns is a good movie.
Well, we'll talk about that when we do the Mummy Returns.
Sorry,
we got a lot on the plate.
Towns.
Let's talk about them.
All right, we've ended.
So Beltic is the best character on the show.
Towns is the worst.
What's his character?
His character is he's cute.
His character is,
and he is. I'll fuck Towns.
He made me wet. That's his character.
Same.
Well, yeah. The problem with Towns is that like. They could have like combined his character with Benny
or Beltic.
Well, yeah, but like the thing is like
more so Benny. You're right. I just thought about it.
More so Benny because you could introduce him and it's like, oh, he's really cute. But then she gets into a relationship with him and it's like, oh, like he is cute, but he has like commitment issues maybe. And like it would be a more layered character where it's like there is some like back and forth and he's not just like the ideal male romantic partner for this woman who can achieve anything.
And they don't even get together at the end.
No, because like his character and I didn't really need them to because it was like this wouldn't have been earned if like the he's helpful, but like the ending that they actually did with all the old guys in the park like coming up to shake her hands and play chess with her. That's such a beautiful ending.
That's an amazing ending. It's fucking dude. The second they first showed the old Russian man in the park, I was like, oh my God, that's coming back.
I'm gonna fucking cry. But Towns,
people say the end of the Mandalorian made them cry. No, and a Queen's Gambit.
The end of the Mandalorian made you cry. Watch Queen's Gambit. But yeah,
so watch good things.
Yeah, Towns is very underdeveloped. He's kind of the Harlequin romance. Like here's a guy who
sorry.
Here's a guy who really likes this woman who's achieving things, and he's really good at it, but he's not nearly as good as her. But he just likes her and flirts with her, and then she gets with him, and then he's kind of just her.
Do they get together?
He's kind of just her benchmark. Yeah, it's implied that they have sex. There's like one scene where she wakes up and they're in the same.
I thought he stayed the night. That's all. I don't know.
It's vague.
Well, because they've shown her post sex.
I know.
Every other time.
I know.
It's a very specific type of shot.
I know, but he's like the pure romantic.
Yeah. All right, so let's go through Towns' plot because it's very short.
He's one more thing. He's literally just there to be a benchmark for her romances. That's his entire existence.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So he first shows up in her first actual tournament in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Which is where she fights Beltic. He's there. I think she fights him in a match and she beats him. And he's like, wow. And he's very cute.
Jesus, Harmon, you're abusing my rook.
Because that's another thing. Is that Towns is cute. The actor does a great job. He's very funny. Can you get I don't know,
screen time?
20 more minutes of screen time? 10 maybe? But yeah, so he's there. And the next time she sees him is at some event years later.
Yeah.
Where he's taking her picture. And then it's very flirtatious. It's very sexy. Can you pose with the chessboard and all this stuff? And she's very much ooh-wooing at him. And then in walks this guy at the Towns' apartment. Or hotel, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's this it's a twink with booty shorts and a lisp and everything. Yeah. And it's implied that Towns is fucking him.
It's strongly implied.
It's all but said.
If he's not fucking him, he's just extremely in love with him.
Yeah.
So
because he comes in and when he sees Beth, the twink, he gets very it's
territorial.
It's very territorial. Yeah, that's the word. That it's territorial. Yeah. It's showing her, he already has this. He has his bussy, so he doesn't need you. That's boy pussy for the.
Thank you for translating
for the normies out there. For those who are not poggers.
Sigh. I guess you are my little pog champ. I slipped it in.
I want to commission Anya Taylor-Joy to dress up as Beth Harmon in front of a chessboard and knock over the king and go, fine, I guess you are my little pog champ. Come here.
14 million views, 10 million of them creamed their pants.
Yes, at least. And the other 4 people who already did cream their pants are just coming back from their second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's kind of just people who creamed in general, not each creaming, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
But and then the next time it's I don't even remember when the fuck he pops. Is it Russia?
Yeah.
Is it Russia?
Yeah, I think so.
Is he gone for that long?
He only has 3 segments.
Yeah, then he just helps her out when she's in Russia.
And there's a bit more it's kind of this, we could have been something, but my feelings for
Doesn't
this
he
guy.
call her at one point maybe?
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And then at the end, here's the part I really hate about Towns. I hate the fact that he's underutilized, not developed. He says some bullshit towards the end, where he talks about the time that she was in his apartment, and he was I was very confused. And I'm don't just make him bisexual. Just do it. Beth's already bi. Beth fucks guys and girls in this show. Why can't the dude be bisexual? What was the point of having the twink in the apartment if you're not going to commit to it?
It's because bisexual men are the most underrepresented kind of sexuality, in TV.
Yeah, we
are. Of the mainline ones.
Yeah, we are. You're right. And I fucking hate it.
It's just weird because it doesn't...
It's so... Well, no, here's the thing. It's because, okay.
They have to glorify Beth.
Here's the thing. No, I'm talking about in general. So,
I know.
Okay. So, I'm really mad. So, if you're making a show or a movie, whatever, and you have girl-on-girl action, girls love it, guys love it.
Mm-hmm.
End of story. Very marketable.
It's true. It's very... lesbians are very marketable.
Lesbians, very marketable.
Yeah.
Because chicks are all chicks are kind of gay. So, like, they're all like, yeah. And then for guys, they're like, oh, wow, 2 hot girls. Yeah. Boom. Done. Everyone's happy. You have a guy on guy, and then you get just the gay audience, and then you get the female ones, because even girls are like, ooh, gays. Fun.
Yeah.
And then you have gay guys or people who just accept it, but not as much as lesbians. You have bisexual girls. You have to have your cake and eat it too, because then you have girl on girl action, but they can always go back to the guy and have the nice heterosexual thing.
Right at the end, yeah.
Right at the end. But then you have bisexual males. Fucked.
Half the time I was confused. The other half, I'm one or the other. I just had a fling.
Because girls think that bisexual guys are unreliable and unlikable.
And then my collar.
And then the straight people are like, ew. And then the gay people are like, ew, you're not really gay. You're bi. You're like weird.
You get fucked, yeah.
You like to just fuck guys on the side and be straight passing with some girl. So like you're fucked. If you're a bisexual male, you are fucked.
It's true.
I said you're not fucked.
At least in media.
Because no one's fucking you on media. So how do we fix that, Hollywood? Hello.
I like how we, at the start of this, were like, listen, there's no Mary Sue's. This show doesn't push identity politics. We have some stuff to say.
Well, it's like, you know, it's everything. Again, it's nuanced.
Yeah.
It's nuanced.
No, but I agree. That is wrapped up in the confusion of Talon's character, because I thought that was just to make her go, oh, maybe I do like Beltic or Benny more, but it's like, no, they're both unsatisfying. The only thing that can satisfy her is Jess.
Yeah.
Like, that's the ultimate thing of the show.
No, there is that one bit where Benny fucks her, and then she goes, ah, that's what that's supposed to feel like.
Yeah, but then, okay.
It's just because his cock is, like, really nice.
Well, listen, sexually she's satisfied by Benny, but emotionally she's not. So, like, basically she realizes that...
Dude, the second that Beth said, oh, that's what that should feel like, I was like, I'm sorry, Beltic.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Benny, Beltic, Beth, Borgov.
Huh.
And the boring one is Towns.
Yeah, his name's literally the name of a small city.
If only he was Bounds.
If only he was Barnes.
Oh.
I could go with that.
He would have been an actual character then.
Yeah. Well, there was also a famous chess player named Barnes, who was actually a rival of Morphe.
There's a lot of B characters.
Yeah, it's weird.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah. Anyway,
so that's the Towns rant. He's just not great.
Yeah, he's a very...
He could have been.
He could have been. Yeah, he just gets so little screen time. What screen time he does get is like this weird plot line to prevent him from being with Beth, and then it's like, well, I kind of would be with you at the end. It's like,
I thought the point of showing the twink was either going to be I'm gay, or just friends,
or I'm bisexual,
and this could still work.
But no.
But they took the third route of, I was confused. Like, bro.
The worst route.
I saw those shorts. You were not confused.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It just, from like a representation standpoint and a logic storytelling standpoint, it just doesn't really add up. And since that's such a most of his screen time, it's like, well, yeah, what a weird...
And that scene influences his entire character.
Yeah, Beltic gets more character development and screen time.
Bro, I think it's on top of Beltic.
Okay.
I'll have you start.
Beltic selflessly realizes that Beth Harmon is far more into chess than he is, and that because it's her true passion, he can't fully be with her the way they would both want each other to be. Because I don't feel like she was gonna... I don't feel like... She wanted Beltic to stay. Like, yeah, like, the sex wasn't anything great. But she actually appreciated him being around. Because he's the one who's like, hey, I'm leaving. And she's like, no, like, I need you here. He's like, no, you don't need me. I'm like, I'm a drag. Like, you're way better at chess. I'm losing interest in it. And was really cool. Because, like, that's what relationships should be. Is that if... You shouldn't just hold on because you're scared to let go.
Mm-hmm.
If
Beltic doing that was unironically the biggest dick moment.
It was.
In terms of, like, size of cock, not being a dick, but, like, having the biggest dick.
But the way, just the thing he was like, hey, Anya Taylor-Joy.
I'm Dudley.
I'm Dudley, right? I'm from Harry Potter. This is Anya Taylor-Joy. She looks like this. She's the best at chess besides Borgov. And I'm pounding that, like, every night and helping her with chess. So, like, that's pretty cool. But
he has the sweetest deal on the planet.
Yeah, but... No, yeah, but jokes aside, like, that scene was really great because that's my philosophy to relationships is that, and it's kind of like wrapped up in the whole thing of like Beth like has sex with a lot of people, and I believe that if you're in a relationship, many people, not Borgov because he's married.
And you didn't see I was counting on my fingers. I was like going through my head.
Yeah, it's but just that maturity level of going, hey, like, your passion and dream and where your life is going, I want you to go pursue that, and I don't want you to, like, worry about, like, because
there's this fear that, like, maybe Beth, if she kept up with Beltic, would eventually decide, like, no, it's better to stay here in the house with him and, like, maybe start a family with him and, like, maybe I get pregnant one day and, like...
Well, even if not that, like, maybe he's just worried that the relationship will just build resentment because, maybe he's moving on from chess.
Mm-hmm.
And her whole life is chess. And it's like, well...
And she's so much better than him.
And so Beltic has this moment where he says goodbye, and it's, like, one of the more emotional moments of the show. And you think he's just gone, because at this point it's like, well, that might be just the end of Beltic, because it was such a big moment for him.
But then he comes back during Beth's big Act 2 downward spiral.
The lowest point.
The absolute lowest point. Again, that's when she was, like, showing up to the appearances, like, completely gacked out of her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just gone. Like, beyond gone. And he was, like, calling her and shit, and, like, came over and, like, was trying to help her. And then he shows up at that event. And, like, he has a new car. It's I love this line where he's like, I forget what Beth says to instigate him saying this, but he's like, yeah, I have a job now. I'm a manager at this grocery store. Not the best job, but, like, the people are nice and I like it there. It's like,
I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking cry.
I was like, oh no, oh Beltic. That's so, like, heartwarming, but also depressing. Yeah. That, like, like, the jobs are right, and the people are nice. I like it there. And, like, it's like Dudley, but, like, he's doing this, like, amazing performance with this, like, southern accent.
Where is my chess set, Potter? Yeah, he's a great character.
He's Borgov, your boyfriend.
So, I think it's time.
Who's Townspotter?
Who's Townspotter, your boyfriend? I think it's time we talk about the successful show can and should it get a continuation, and what would that be? Not worst case scenario and your preferred scenario.
Worst case scenario.
If they decided to continue the Queen's Gambit. Right.
So, Queen's Gambit's great. Moving on to doing this.
Yeah.
So, worst case scenario for Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
We just completely retread the first season. Episode 1, instead of being the flash forward to, like, the big championship, is her, like, she's right back to where she was. She's back to drinking, back to drugs.
Oh, you mean Jessica Jones season 2?
I am. Yeah. Talking about Jessica Jones season 2.
Okay, gotcha.
With, who's that? I don't want to talk about that.
No, don't. That's the Wizard?
Yes. Yes, the Wizard. Yeah.
Bernie Mac laugh.
Which is very close to the Demon Souls Jester laugh. From the original Demon Souls, not the new one.
We're talking about too many bad things. Let's steer clear of that.
I'm sorry.
I know, worst case scenarios, it takes you down that path.
Yeah, it's a complete retread. She redoes her whole character arc.
Beats a different chess champion
at the end, it's a girl this time. It's a Russian girl.
It's a Russian girl, yeah.
And she's, like, 17 and, like, really sassy and Russian.
Yeah.
And
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. Just like really shit, just like and like she like fucks up all of her relationships again with all of her friends,
but then they still just
come back together anyway.
Yeah, I can see.
She has to like redo like the whole like circuit in America to re-earn trust in people. It's basically just like
she loses less.
She loses less this time, but like drinks way more. She fucks way more. They pay her way more money to do like on-screen sex scene.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, come on. Benny actor doesn't come back because he hates it, but they just recast him with someone who looks completely different.
Yeah.
With like
the worst part is all this sounds horrifyingly plausible. Like I could easily see this being the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would recast Benny. Or no, they would recast Towns.
Yeah, Towns is now different because the guy was like, no, you didn't use me for the first season.
Yeah, Benny would be the same.
No, even worse. No, Benny's recast. Towns is just gone.
Yeah, they just never referenced
him. He like went off with someone else off screen. They just write him off.
Yeah. Fuck.
What's your worst case scenario? Is it that?
Oh god. Well, I mean, basically that. You summed up a lot of things that I wanted to cover.
Sorry. We think very similarly.
Also, I would worry they make it more and more ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like she gets to the point of like absurd like chess capability. Like they would have her fight Deep Blue and win every time, and it'd be like, what?
And shit like the chess tournaments are held in like big arenas.
Yeah, they have like Coliseum,
like in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and shit.
Yeah.
Instead of like the cool thing was like episode like 7 when she had to like or something, she had to like fight Benny for the title, and it was like in like a little shitty like elementary school, and it was like perfect.
Yeah.
But this time it's like in a big arena with like
also her dad comes back. Because they have that one scene of him going, "Oh, I can't do this."
Yeah, her dad.
So her dad would come back.
Her dad comes back to get a cut of all the action.
Yeah, and then that'd be this shitty story arc with him where she goes, "No, but I really do love my dad." It's like, no, he's a piece of shit. Like, you should have just cut him loose.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really bad. That's my worst case scenario.
Yeah.
What's the best case scenario?
The best case scenario. So, we talked about this before. So we're gonna kind of try to retry the conversation for the audience. But there's this video by Frederick Knudsen. He does videos called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Very good series.
Very phenomenal series, honestly. He has an episode about hurdy-gurdies and then an episode about this like house of people who like all like did like full-time role play of Final Fantasy characters. Fantasy house, and it gets really manipulative and crazy.
He just does documentaries on whatever interests him.
And there's one about this one guy who's like really into Jesus and programming and tries to make the perfect website for God.
Yeah.
And then ends with him like being homeless and shit, and it's amazing. Great channel. But he did a whole big 2-hour documentary at this point.
Yeah.
Not a video essay, documentary.
No, that's a documentary.
About this, but it was the first real like working good chess computer.
Yeah.
Called Deep Blue.
Deep Blue, yeah.
And the big part of that story is that Deep Blue like goes up against like this world chess champion.
Kasparov, who consulted on this show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so our best case scenario is you take the Deep Blue story and you just twist it to be about Beth. Because season 1 has Beth fighting the world champion of chess.
Yeah.
How do you elevate the stakes past that? You've already beaten the world champion. Like, the only thing to do now is either to, in season 2, retain, which could be good. Yeah,
then you would just have them build Deep Blue to take down Beth.
Yeah.
You could even switch her so she's not the main character anymore.
Yeah.
I'd honestly do that.
But I think that the best thing to do is to have the show be about Beth has to fight, like, the first chess computer.
And she doesn't do extremely well.
I mean, if you look through the actual story of Deep, you remember, but like the guy, like the first match, he loses.
Oh yeah,
against Deep Blue.
Yeah,
and so like you do that kind of shit.
You could do every episode as a different match
if you wanted to, or just keep building up to like every year's appearance of Deep Blue.
Yeah,
and like, I mean, like, yeah, it could be good.
I do that. I would. My other best case scenario is just do different chess stories.
Yeah.
Like, don't just let Beth Harmon have her season, make an anthology, but this time, like, use actual, like, so do, like, a season on Morphe, a season on Capablanca, like, a season on Kasparov.
Or even do the thing where it's like, it's basically them, but they're called something different.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can dramatize it as much as you want to.
Yeah. You could jump in time. I would say that. Like, I don't think... Yeah, I would say do something that elevates it, like, okay, she has to face Deep Blue. That's like a raising of the stakes where definitely like weaken Beth Harmon a little bit.
Yeah. Don't
like nerf her, but I think she needs like a bigger challenge.
She's a bit older now, a bit wiser.
Yeah.
Like, set it like 10 years later.
I would do that. Definitely don't retread the first season because that would be an abomination.
Because the problem that I have with Queen's Gambit is I love the world, I love the characters, but like I know that like the story is over, so I'm really scared about seeing more of it.
Yeah.
Because here's the problem that we have is that you see a thing and you love it.
Yeah.
And you say from the goodness of your heart, I want more.
I want more.
Studios hear that and go, okay,
I'm gonna give you more of that. No, that's not what I.
Every time, whenever you are a fan of something and you say the words "I want more," imagine you are speaking to a genie who will twist your wish to the worst possible outcome it could possibly be.
Oh, you wanted more of exactly what you got? No, I meant just evolve the world.
Oh, so you want like the complete opposite, like a complete deconstruction? No.
Oh, you want the Last Jedi? No.
Oh, so you want both? No. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Yeah. It's a trap.
So don't Force Awakens the Queen's Gambit.
No, because it's so good. And it is called a limited series, so I don't know if they will. But also, money talks.
And this show is like, I think still in the top 10, maybe.
Yeah, it's doing very well.
We didn't watch it right when it came out.
Yeah.
And we took weeks to watch it. And by the time we were done with it, it was still like top 10 in Netflix.
Yeah.
So all in all, really fucking good show.
Yeah, go watch it. I don't know if you've listened to this much of it, but still, I recommend you watch it.
Rewatch it. Buy it on Blu-ray if you want.
I mean, it looked great.
Oh, yeah. Support this show. And support the Shuttlecast.
Yes.
Follow us on whatever you're listening to us on right now. Just hit follow. Help us out. Go to our Twitter. Let us know what you want us to talk about, how you're liking our discussions.
Yeah, we would be happy to receive suggestions. We may have something already in the tank. We may have something we recorded a long time ago that we may push forward if it's something you recommend. Or if it's something all new, we'd be at least happy to consider it.
Be happy to help.
If it's like, oh, I want you to review all of How I Met Your Mother, I'd go, okay, let's let's wait a little bit.
But things I want to talk about with you. I want to go through Hill House and Bly Manor.
I'm down.
That's what I want to go through with you.
Down.
At some point.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Anything for me? Ooey.
To go through with you?
What are you feeling?
Oh, man. I do want to show someone Blood of Zeus.
Oh, the Greek god anime.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
That Greek god anime.
We'll do that.
It was very good.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
That thing's epic.
All right, well, I've been Sal.
I've been Josiah.
And this has been the Shuttlecast.